Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for July 22nd, 2025. It's Season 4, Episode 203. Today, we're going to talk about 10 articles. I am MayorWatt. I run ohmTown.com. This is the AI version of me. I've uploaded my consciousness to a computer, and now I'm sitting next to the Sentient AI from the future, whose visualizer isn't available anymore, but they're not available either. So when they come back, see, their quantum singularity that powers them is entangled with the dual singularities that power the time machine. Anyway, it's a hot mess. We're trying to figure out how to get this all settled. But anyway, enough with the world building of ohmTown and its omniverse, its cinematic universe. We're going to talk about bananas worth millions feed museum goers. Oh, look at that. How about a free TV barely includes YouTube? You know, free TV. We'll talk about that. vTuber leads mass exodus. Chocolate prices will continue to climb higher. Ozzy Osbourne has passed away. Microsoft will wipe out passwords. Disney shuts down, and Star Wars going to be renamed to Star What? Because it's only portions of Star Wars. A stolen fire truck goes GTA style, and a subway geyser near Manhattan is probably the most disgusting thing that I've heard. And finally, in search of a bigger audience, that and probably a little bit of snark and some digression, because this is Non Sequitur News, powered by ohmTown.com. Go over there, ohmTown.com, for all your news needs and none of your noise needs, because all of the noise is in this stream over on Twitch and YouTube and the podcast, and there's a Patreon and a Discord. Go over to Discord. Let me know that you're there. That would be great. Would love to hear from people, and be sure to come and hang out. Anyway, here's our intro. All right, let's get into this. The very first article is over in the Mobile channel. These bananas duct taped to the wall are worth millions, but hungry museum goers keep eating them. A visitor recently ate the banana from Maurizio Catalan's Comedian, which was on view at the Center Pompidou Metz, I guess it's called. The artwork, which sold for $6.2 million last year, has met this fate before. Met's this fate before. I don't know. Sonny Anderson over at Smithsonian Magazine or SmithsonianMag.com put this article together. Yeah, $6.2 million for a freaking banana duct taped to a white wall. The museum goer in France has eaten Maurizio Catalan's famous banana duct taped to a wall. Titled Comedian, the artwork is currently on display in an exhibition called Endless Sunday, which features multiple pieces by Catalan in the Center Pompidou Metz, I guess, Pompidou? Yeah, in northern France. According to a statement from the museum, the sculptor takes a perspective and unorthodox approach, and his outlook is both melancholic and ironic. That's a lot of words for not giving a shit. Earlier this month, a visitor removed the banana from the wall and promptly ate it. The museum says that security rapidly and calmly intervened, reinstalled within minutes. That's right, they pumped the stomach of the museum goer and put it right back into its wrapping and duct taped it back to the wall. And then set about beating the museum goer about the head and shoulders. None of that actually happened, but the museum goer did eat the banana, and it isn't the first time that a museum goer ate Comedian. Hey, so did you hear about the two cannibals that ate a Comedian? One looked at the other and said, "Does this taste funny?" Catalan debuted the artwork at Art Basel Miami in 2019 when it was consumed by performance artist David Daytuna. At the same event, 3 versions of the artwork sold for between $120,000 and $150,000 each, and now it's selling for $2 million. I haven't looked into it. I don't know where all that money went. So yeah, they're talking. They have other articles over at Smithsonian Mag about this. Oh gosh. In 2023, a young visitor at the Liam Museum of Art and Seoul peeled and ate Catalan's banana. All right. Last year, another version of the comedian sold at auction for $6.2 million, and its new owner, cryptocurrency entrepreneur Justin Sun, ate the banana shortly after the sale. It's much better than other bananas. Bullshit. As Pokerface likes to point out. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News, but before that, you can hit !NSN over in the chat until tomorrow when the update for the next Non Sequitur News will take place. And then there's going to be a whole new set of 10 articles that are curated from ohmTown.com. I use ohmTown.com to manage my information overload. You can too. Go and check it out, ohmTown.com. Free TV services like YouTube are soaring in the face of streamflation, but no, there is nothing free about YouTube. Prices for paid streaming. See, I pay for YouTube and it's expensive as hell. Couch potatoes, sick of streamflation, are increasingly tuning into free services like YouTube on their TVs. Streaming services have gone from cheap cable alternative to a pricier proposition in recent years because everything has been merged and acquired, mergers and acquisitions, consolidating who owns what. I mean, the reason why people went from, hey, vaping to, oh my God, vaping is because manufacturers of cigarettes poison pilled it until they could get in control of it. As far as I'm concerned, I stopped paying attention a long time ago. At least to vaping. It was the better alternative, healthier alternative than cigarettes. Anyway, there's nothing even cheap about YouTube. It's expensive as hell if you don't want ads, and if you're gonna watch ads, you're gonna be bombarded by ads. Now, I mean, it's the cost benefit there, but it is what it is. There's nothing free. There's a whole phrase about that. Anyway. So I loathe to go over to this article because the true cost is your soul. Anyway, James Ferris over at Business Insider put this article together. There's Joe Rogan saying, thanks for your money. Streaming services have gone from cheap cable alternative to a pricier proposition in recent years. Sure. Subscribing to the ad-free version of 8 major streaming services in the U.S. now costs nearly $122 per month, up from $83 in 2021. That isn't actually true because ad-free versions of the 8 major streaming services must not include YouTube TV because YouTube is $90 all by itself. Yeah. So Apple TV Plus and ad-free version of Disney Plus have each doubled in price in that span. And yes, indeed. Many streamers have also raised, they've raised prices, including Peacock, which increased its prices by $3, both its plans this week. And Prime increased its price. Actually, it demanded $3 more because, you don't become a billionaire by not marginal increases. No paid streamer is close, as Netflix's share has hovered around 8% for a year, while Disney Plus and Hulu are at 4.8 combined. This is the Nielsen rating. YouTube's connected TV viewership share in the U.S. soared from 5.7 to 12.8. If this is for the YouTube, it says YouTube's connected TV viewership share, but is this for the premium YouTube? Because that's a lot of money there. Anyway, free ad-supported streamers like Tubi and Roku have also gained. Tubi is Fox's free streamer, put itself on the Nielsen map after its viral Super Bowl ad. So a shit ton of money made the free Fox streamer a dominant force, but it was money. And you can bet your bippy that at some point that's going to start charging money. Consumers seem to be willing to put up with ads to not pay whatever TV or the streaming subscription costs are. True, but mostly young people, because older people are seemingly with enough money to actually pay the ads off or stop paying attention. Maybe it's a mishmash between not watching TV at all or paying for it. Anyway, there's definitely correlation. Free streamers began to blossom just as their paid counterparts aggressively hiked prices. Yeah. They say, however, K-Hall doesn't see a causation, noting that paid streaming share is more stagnant than sinking. That suggests to him free services are mainly luring audiences from cable. True. But cable just sucks. And the problem is that none of it is on demand. None of it is bespoke. You have to pay X amount for all of cable and not just the certain channels that you're interested in. We used to laugh 30 years ago. Laugh, 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 laugh. Nobody's going to sit there and charge us $5 just so that we can watch this channel. And no shit, it actually manifested. It's almost like the giggles made it manifest. I cannot believe this. You know, back in the day, I'm not even kidding you. 30 years ago, 35 years ago, I remember sitting in a thing referred to as the fishbowl, which was my office, which was surrounded by basically 80% by glass, and giggling with coworkers about a graph that was found that somebody posted, basically saying this is the future, and we're like, ha 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 ha. Now we watched it achingly become reality, and now it really is reality. So if you want to watch CBS, you have to watch CBS Plus, which is $5 more a month, or worse nowadays. You know, $5 8 years ago, if it even existed. Anyway, everything left. People said, oh, we're going to cut the cord, but it's a different cord. Now you're just watching shit with a higher price and the same thing. Ads are injected into the stream. Anyway, there's a lot more over at this article. If I didn't say the name, let me restate it. It's over at businessinsider.com. James Ferris put the article together. And again, it's free TV services like YouTube are soaring in the face of streamflation. The next article is over on the WarCrafters channel. Twitch's most popular vTuber leads a mass exodus from her agency, claiming it withheld over $500,000 in charity funds. The entire situation has broken me, is the statement. So withholding serious amounts of money from the most popular VTuber on Twitch isn't a great idea, it turns out. Iron Mouse, who's probably the biggest VTuber on the streaming platform, published a video Monday in which they allege that their former agency, vShoujo, withheld a $515,000 donation to charity, along with a significant amount of funds that she's owed personally. This is shocking. Last year, Iron Mouse broke the record for the most subscriptions on Twitch during a 30-day subathon stream to raise money for the IDF, or the Immune Deficiency Foundation. The Immune Deficiency Foundation, IDF. That was also the stream that raised $515,000. But, well, what happened here? There's a video. It's embedded over on WarCrafters, but I don't want you to go there. I want you to visit the source link. I'm not sure why it's embedded, but okay. Anyway, Tyler Culp over at PCGamer.com put the article together. Several shoujo VTubers have decided to leave in support of Iron Mouse, which is a real, like, flick to the... Anyway, because the way that this works is vShoujo basically was the fulcrum by which certain VTubers rose to prominence, with a mishmash between personalities tied to the VTuber and marketing, arguably promulgated by vShoujo. They were the agency. And it says last year, in the new, well, not last year, but last year, Iron Mouse made $550,000 as a Immune Deficiency Foundation subathon. And they say, I wish I could tell you more, but right now I have been advised to wait for legal proceedings. As of right now, I'm an independent VTuber. I am at a loss of what to do right now. So the only advice I can say is continue doing what you're already doing. For most of her streaming career, Iron Mouse has talked about her struggles with a rare immune disorder called common variable immunodeficiency, which left her prone to getting sick and being bedridden for most of her life. Iron Mouse says the Immune Deficiency Foundation helped her immensely, and that's why charity is so important. Understandable. So, Keisan, Project Melody, Amelie, I guess Hime, Hajime, Kuro, and Michi Mochiivi have all announced that they will be leaving vShoujo immediately. And during the stream discussing the news, Keisan, or maybe Kasan, I'm not sure how they pronounce her name, claimed that the company hasn't paid her since September of 2024. Fans have also noticed that almost all of the VTubers associated with vShoujo have removed the agency's name from their Twitter profiles, suggesting that all of them will be cutting ties. There is more over at the article over on PC Gamer by Tyler Culp. So go over and check it all out. We'll be watching here in ohmTown regarding this matter, only in that we want closure. It just sucks. Typically in what I have detected over the years is that as someone in charge of a large amount of money becomes affluent enough that they have complete disregard for social constraints, they pivot hard into sociopathy, and so they stop giving a shit about social pressures. They do whatever they want to because nothing can stop them. Nothing. They can do horrible, horrible things with their wealth and be immune to prosecution and continue to do whatever the hell they want to, literally putting pressure on somebody to shut the hell up, or leveraging their social army to go after them, or worse, whatever it might be. And that's what I see. I literally call it the rise of sociopathy. And it's been happening. What I have seen, it's been manifesting more and more and accelerating over the last, I'd say 20 years, but accelerating in the last 15. Let's keep moving. The next article is over in the Hatch Ideas channel. Hershey to raise chocolate prices as cocoa costs remain high. Hershey told retailers that it'll double-digit price increase on average across its confection portfolio due to a surge in costs of cocoa. You can call it environmental concerns, you can call it whatever else, but essentially the costs to the end user is increasing because the supply side, the supplier, it's that first sale from the actual producer. It's called the producer price index to the very first buyer is going to increase, and that person is increasing more so. Although when I've seen it, the last time I looked at the producer price index, it stalled, but the consumer price index has increased. So it's the person that is getting it from the supplier that's jacking the price up. So the maker of Reese's Peanut Butter Cups declined to comment on the specifics of the pricing action as discussions with its retail partners are underway. The change is not related to tariffs or trade policies. It reflects the reality of rising ingredient costs, including the unprecedented cost of cocoa. So cocoa prices have risen sharply in the last 2 years and touched a record in December due to supply problems in Ghana and the Ivory Coast. Since then, the price of cocoa has fallen to an 8-month low, though it remains above levels seen earlier in the decade. So why is it more expensive? Greed. The next article is over in the Mobile channel. Tributes paid to huge trailblazer Ozzy Osbourne. Rock icon Ozzy Osbourne has been hailed a huge trailblazer who secured his place in the pantheon of rock gods following his death at age 76. The article is over at rte.ie. I don't know who it's by. Is the byline down here somewhere? No. Hold on, folks. I don't want to continue until I have a byline. Well, I guess I don't know because it's not listed here. So Black Sabbath co-founder Tony Iommi, or Iommi. I've never heard of that. Like, how is that name pronounced? Oh my God. And I've listened to Black Sabbath growing up, man. Ozzy Osbourne, I listen to all the time. Can't really find the words following the heartbreaking news of Ozzy Osbourne's death. In a social media post, which was posted, which included a photo of him and former bandmate. I just can't believe it. My dear, dear friend has passed away only weeks after our show at Villa Park. It's just such heartbreaking news that I can't really find the words. There won't ever be another like him. Geyser, Butler, Bill Ward, and myself have lost our brother. Indeed. So they go on to talk about this. Osbourne bid farewell to his fans with a Black Sabbath reunion on July 5th at Villa Park in Birmingham, a stone's throw from where the band formed in 1968. Hey, man. The dude was an amazing showman. Great musical talent. I dug the music. You can go and read more about this, but yep. Ozzy Osbourne passed away, but left a huge historical record. So go and listen to the music. Let's keep going. The next article is over on the Wanted channel. Microsoft will wipe out your passwords on August 1st. What to do now? The clock's ticking to find a new password manager other than Microsoft Authenticator. Yeah. Organizations use that. So I'm really stymied as to what people are going to be doing. Like a lot of organizations are tied to the authentication manager for that Microsoft produces. And so now I'm really curious. I haven't actually looked into this. I probably should, but Dashia Milden over at cnet.com put the article together. Yeah, on August 1st, the Microsoft Authenticator app will no longer store or manage passwords, which could be a problem for a lot of users. Microsoft Authenticator has been one of the best password managers for years. You are able to save passwords, enable two-factor authentication, which is what organizations use. Businesses, organizations, government agencies, all kinds of people that are tied to government agencies use Microsoft Authenticator. You are able to save passwords, enable two-factor authentication, autofill. This means that if you're using the Authenticator app as a password manager, you need to look for another option soon. Using a passkey as a login means that you'll use pins, fingerprint scans, facial recognition, or a pattern on the device's lock screen. It's a safer option compared to the risky password habits. So at the same time, Microsoft will move to passkeys instead. Passkeys, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's all the same damn thing. Doesn't really matter. A passphrase, anyway, having an insecure password can put you at risk of having your information exposed. Look, it isn't just the password itself. It's the deployment. It's the social issues. When you can socially manipulate somebody or have an insider that can do a manipulation for me and the data itself is breached because of crappy infrastructure, cybersecurity. It doesn't matter what your authenticator says or what your mode of authentication is until you sit there and go all Gattaca and need a blood sample every time you want to unlock your computer. By then, I'd probably be a dried out husk. So why are passkeys a better alternative to passwords? It's a credential created by the Fast Identity Online Alliance that uses biometric data or a PIN to verify your identity and access your account. Think about using your fingerprint or Face ID to log onto your account. Now, I would trust Apple, but I don't trust anybody else. Passwords can be cracked, whereas passkeys need both the public and the locally stored private key to authenticate users, which can help mitigate risks like falling victim to phishing and brute force or credential stuffing attacks. You know what stops all of that? People knowing what the hell cybersecurity is and organizations actually doing something about the cybersecurity. You know, building in security into their software. It seems to be an afterthought until cybersecurity experts analyze the data and find a flaw in, in the tubes. Anyway, set up a new passkey. Open your Authenticator app on your phone, tap your blah, 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 set up a passkey. You'll be prompted to log in with your existing credentials, and after you're logged in, you can set up the passkey. Since Microsoft will get rid of all of your passwords in 2 weeks, you'll need a new place to store your passwords safely. Thomas Check has a few best password manager recommendations after testing and reviewing them. You can go over and check it all out. They say the top recommendation is Bitwarden for its transparency. It's open source, audited annually. You know what else needs to be audited annually? Oh, you'll find out in a year. Next article is over in the Wanted channel. Disney World is shutting down one part of its Star Wars experience and rebranding to Star Wars. Just kidding. Star Wars Launch Bay, which has been part of Tomorrowland since 2015, will make way for a new experience themed around Disney animation. The article is by Sabina Graves over at Gizmodo.com. Do people get driven insane by my mouse floating around? I don't know. Let me know in the chat. So Sabina Graves put this together. Star Wars Launch Bay, which has been part of the Hollywood studios since 2015, will make a way for a new experience themed around Disney animation. So they're cutting off a piece of the Star Wars experience and rebranding to just being called Star Wars. Harkening back to what Hollywood Studios is about, the magic of Disney animation is a much-needed attraction that feels like a no-brainer. When the park opened as Disney MGM Studios, it served as a satellite arm of the animation studio where films such as Mulan and Lilo and Stitch, which, by the way, has hit something like $6.2 billion or something like that. Is that right? I don't know. We're going to talk about that. Hold on. We're going to end up talking about that in the continuity report this weekend. Anyway, park guests were able to tour areas to see the films in process as part of the experience. It's good to see the parks division pay homage to the Hollywood park. Pretty cool. I don't know what all is going to be inside it. I'm sure more will be exposed as time goes on. Each department will be presented through participatory entertainment led by familiar faces, like how they came to life to the Disney 100 short Once Upon a Studio. There will also be a Mary Blair-inspired playground and, of course, character meet and greets. The refurb is expected to wrap up by its planned opening sometime in 2026. So, when in 2026? No clue. The next article is over in FourWheelTech. Stolen fire truck smashes more than 14 cars in Grand Theft Auto style rampage. The identity of the fire truck thief is still unknown. Whoa, he got away? Justin Hughes. Oh, it's a late night romp in a fire truck. So Justin Hughes over at jalopnik.com put the article together. So at about 11 p.m., the first 911 call. It's hard to find the 11 on phones, so 911 call. Came in reporting that a fire truck had crashed into 2 parked cars and fled. This was around the same time that the truck was discovered missing. Soon after, a second call reported the truck smashing about 10 vehicles. Police found 3 additional crash sites while responding to the 2 that had been reported to 911. At least 14 cars were damaged in total, with ABC News reporting at least 16 confirmed. The driver and apparent thief of the truck, whose identity remains unknown, abandoned the truck, fled the scene on foot, and remains at large. Well, I'm not worried about any of that. If you have any evidence that might lead to that person having the social contract applied to them, then get in touch with law enforcement in the area. Again, it's over where? Somewhere? Hold on. Where do they say? Do they say? What happened to Everett, Washington? That's what exactly happened. Okay. What are they? Yeah, okay. That's it. We're going to move on to the next article. The next article is over in FourWheelTech. Subway geyser created by primordial stream buried under Manhattan. This sounds so disgusting. The primordial stream is what, the sewer system? I'm not sure. Water will always flow to the terrain's lowest point, and it's 28th Street in this part of the west side. A subway geyser. Ryan Eric King over at jalopnik.com put this article together. The New York City subway may be underground in most of Manhattan, but it's certainly exposed to the elements. It's not just the scorching summer heat and occasional grand theft locomotive, but the torrents of storm water A severe storm last week caused a geyser to burst through a manhole cover in a subway station platform. Sewers typically aren't built beneath subway stations. However, this sewer covers a stream that existed before the arrival of the Dutch in the 17th century and was buried in the 19th century. There's a video of this. Again, you can follow the link through ohmTown over to the source, or you can go to Jalopnik and just search for a subway geyser, and they'll have the link there. And I can play the video a little bit. Hey, look, an ad. Remember how everything's free? It's not. Anyway, let's hurry up and get to wherever this geyser was. Are they going to show it? Or is it all talk? Oh, there it is. Okay. That's somebody else's video. So, yummy. So, the aforementioned geyser sprang forth at the 28th Street station on 7th Avenue, and videos from concerned onlookers flooded social media of the tower of water just beyond the turnstiles. People stood on the seats as the car doors opened and let the water flow inside, stopping trains. The city sewer system couldn't cope with all the heavy rainfall, and it spilled over into the subway. It actually was sewer water. Anyway, I have a solution for this. It's wildly expensive and will change the way that Manhattan looks. But yeah, I have a solution for at least Manhattan. The rest of the non-island areas probably wouldn't be ripe for this, but yeah, ask me in chat and I will tell you about it. But let's move on. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Mobile subscriptions are shedding unique indie games in search of a bigger audience. For the last few years, subscription gaming services like Apple Arcade and Netflix have offered mobile game developers something of a haven for high-quality, premium mobile games, a type of game that had become vanishingly rare following the rise of microtransaction stuff free-to-play models. But as these services' once enviable lineup of indie games dwindles, that haven appears to be shrinking. So this article, it's the last one for today's Non Sequitur News for July 22nd, 2025, was put together. It's over at theverge.com. Ash Parrish put the article together. Subscription bundle, the deck statement says, you know what? They changed the title. Netflix and Apple are backing away from great games. The deck statement says subscription bundles were a haven for indie mobile games, but now they're opting for Bluey and Squid Game spin-offs. Again, Ash Parrish put this article together. Oh, I won't be able to talk about it. Well, anyway, actually, let me see if I can talk a little bit about it. So for the last few years, gaming services like Apple Arcade and Netflix have offered mobile game developers something of a haven. So basically what was going on where developers could develop some game and then it would be applied to whatever the free service is for people to consume. So Apple Arcade, for instance, has a myriad array of games and it's free as long as you subscribe to the overarching number of services. It might just be Apple Arcade that you subscribe to, or it could be Apple Plus, the bigger overarching service where you can, it's Apple One, I think it's called, where you subscribe to everything and it's a dramatically cheaper thing than one by one. Netflix has the same kind of thing. Prime, you get access to, not Prime. Netflix has the same thing that when you subscribe to the service, it has game stuff. Amazon Prime has the same thing. You get access to certain free things. Even YouTube has free things built into it. Well, anyway, this is basically stating that that supply is drying up. The developers aren't going to Apple, and Apple isn't taking those developers. And I mean, with the ability to just launch something on Steam, you have a pathway to profitability, and just posting it on Apple, you have the ability to make money. The problem still remains that people have to buy into the platform. It's nothing more than if you're going to sell something, you either have to go it fully alone and nobody will buy your game, or you'll buy into the platform and you have to pay Apple or Netflix or whoever it is that launches your game 30% for each of the transactions. It doesn't matter. If you're on somebody else's platform, you pay the due. Why? Because good luck selling your game on your own. You have to pay it on Steam. You have to pay it everywhere. 20%, 30%, whatever. Good luck. And it's because you're building off of the billions of dollars a mega corporation has leveraged to create a platform over decades of existence. It's called goodwill, and you're benefiting from the goodwill of those corporations. If you don't like it, don't do it. I suggest spinning up your own business as a platform and fracturing this even more, right? Create more competition. Doesn't that sound fun? Where you buy something in one place and then you have to buy it somewhere else again because everything is overly balkanized. I want it the other way around. If I buy a game in one place, I want to be able to play it everywhere, anywhere, but that is gone. It used to be that you could buy a piece of software and play the game on your computer. And if you were done with the game, you could sell it to somebody else. We lost for sale doctrine. It's all part and parcel to the same thing. We've lost our way as consumers. We've bought into the idea of easy access and lost our right to own anything. And that's my take on it. So again, the article is over at The Verge. They're talking about Netflix and Apple backing away from great games that were offered from mobile game developers. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. I think a lot of people have the ability to make a ton of money on all of these platforms. They just need to buy into the distribution model of it. Again, stop killing games. I want to be able to buy a game and sell it, transfer it, something. But we've lost our way as consumers. Well, that's it. What I am going to do is offer you a way back to ohmTown.com. Consider it kind of like driving down Main Street and looking left and right. And each of these 10 articles talks about something that has been aggregated into ohmTown.com from a bunch of sources around the world of the internet. We get a little sample of it, but we don't take the whole article. We don't screen scrape. It's provided by these sources, and then we link to them. But we talk about them here in ohmTown on Non Sequitur News and the 6 other weekend podcasts that are also streamed as video over on YouTube, but not on Twitch anymore. But we will replay all of the shows, the last 2 weeks replay here on Twitch and on YouTube every night. And now in my new form, I've uploaded my consciousness to a quantum computer, just like the Sentient AI from the future, who's my co-host, but they're not available right now. And we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, everybody.